Okay, today we're going to take a look at the basics of a select tag, sometimes referred to as a combo box, and how to get the values or the inner HTML of a selected option. So here we have a very basic combo box or select tag with colors, and like I said, we're going to get the either the inner HTML or the value and do something with it. So here's a basic look at what I have right here. Here's the HTML. You might want to pause it and go ahead and get this copied down. You don't need all this other, the wrapper and everything, or the div 2. Really what you need, you can just alert your selections, but you just need this stuff right here. I've got 5, you can have 10 or 2, whatever. So here's the HTML, and if you want to go ahead and pause this right here and get the HTML, and then go ahead and pause it right here to get the CSS if you want this display right here. So go ahead and pause that, get that down, and then come on back. Alright, like I said, we're going to do two things. We're going to get the value and we're going to get the inner HTML, and this can be a little confusing. So I have this select tag or combo box, and on change it's going to call a function called doStuff, which is right here. We haven't done anything with it, and we're going to get the value and the inner HTML, and we're going to display it in div 2. And div 2 is just this box under here. There's no color to it, or there's white, I guess, and we're going to display the value and inner HTML right there. So a few things you can do. There's a number of different things. We're going to pass in this .id, and this .id being some options. Now you could pass in literally some options, but I'm going to pass in the ID, and we're going to test that really quick. So we're going to say alert ELEM, and when I change or select a different box, the function doStuff gets called. It's passing in some options, and that's what should get alerted. So let's go ahead and refresh. So it's red, I change, purple, and some options, because that's the ID. Okay. Real quick, suppose you want it, it's going to default to red. So let me refresh my browser, and it defaults to red. If you want it to default to something else like green, just type selected right here. And now it'll default to green. Make sure you save it. And refresh, and now it defaults to green. Okay, so just add that selected to whichever one you want to start with. You can also pass in this .selected index. So instead of passing in the ID, you could just pass in, or you could pass in both. But this .selected index is going to pass in which of the following options is selected. Now remember, the first option is the 0 option, the second option is 1, the third option is 2, etc. Okay, so remember, it is an array, it is 0 based. So right now if I alert, if I keep this ELEM and alert selected index, so let's refresh. If I select red, I should get 0, which I do because that's the first one. If I select black, I should get purple. Oh, excuse me, 4, not purple, because it's the fourth in the array. Alright, so anyway, I'm just going to go with this .id. Like I said, I don't know what you're going to do with this information, the inner HTML or the value, but just how to get it. So the first thing we're going to do is say var some options equals document.get element by ID ELEM. So we're passing in ELEM, so we don't need to put some options. You still can, but I'm just going to pass in ELEM. Okay. Next, I'm going to var. I need a reference to div 2 because that's what I'm going to display. So div 2 equals document.get element div 2. Oops. So now we created a reference to that, and now we're going to display the value or the inner HTML. And then we're going to say var, let's say selected index equals some options dot selected index. You don't need to do this. You can kind of bypass this and just use some options dot selected index right here. but I'm just going to create a variable for it just because it's a little easier visually to understand. So now we're just going to say div2.innerHTML equals sum options. Remember, this is an array of selected index dot value. And so what that should do is it should show us the 10, 20, 30, 40, or 50. Now remember, these don't have to be numbers. These can literally be anything. But I'm just using numbers for display purposes. I'll leave that as anything right now. So if we refresh this and I pick purple, I get 40 because 40 is the value for the purple option. Okay, and if I pick red, because I changed it to anything, I literally get the word anything. So let's put this back to 10. And now if you want to display the inner HTML instead, which would be the red, blue, green, purple, or black, so we'll just go ahead and do that, inner HTML. Refresh that. And purple, purple, black, etc. Okay. Let's go ahead and just display both the value and the inner HTML. So go to the end of the line, Control D. And let's just put this back to value. So it's going to display the inner HTML and then the value. Actually, plus. We got to put a plus here. If you don't put the plus, it's just going to overwrite it. So just get rid of the plus to see what happens. But we'd want to concatenate it. So let's put that back. Control F5. So we should get the inner HTML. So blue and 20. Let's drop down a line. So let's go ahead and put in I'm going to put in a break line here. And so putting in the break line will drop the number underneath. So let's do that. So let's go back to blue, 20, red, 10, etc. Like I said, I don't know what you're going to do with these things, but that's how you get them from either the value or the inner HTML from a select tag or combo box. So let's real quick just do this. Let's do div2.style.background equals, just change the color based on the selected color of the div. So copy this, paste that. So we're going to change div2 to whatever color is selected. So let's save that, refresh our browser. So red, changed it to red, blue, green, purple, and black. Let's go back to green. Alright, so there you go. Once again, that's just how one method, not the only, one method of getting the selected value or inner HTML from a select tag. Hope this helps, and thanks for watching.